That imposter syndrome, man, it will get you every single time if you let it. Things are rolling along, things are happening, you're building your dream, you're building your business. You find yourself in brand new situations. You look around and say, oh my gosh, this is really happening. And, bows are green. And all of a sudden, there's this voice that just creeps up inside and says, who do you think you are? You don't deserve this much good. What if they really find out who I really am? And then all of a sudden, you find yourself shrinking back, doubting it, wondering if it's going to last. Boom, the imposter syndrome hits. What do? My name is Felicia, Searcy, your Dream Life Activator. It is my joy. I'm sorry. Shh. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. Bo does not have any problems with speaking his mind. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. And in this live, I want to help you understand what happens when that imposter syndrome hits, how to recognize it, and then more importantly, what to do about it. And stick around to the end because I have an amazing invitation that I'd like to extend to you. So, all right, so let's get into this. So you are this amazing woman building this amazing dream business. There's something deep inside of you so profound that's wanting expression, that you have something profound to bring to people, to give to people, to offer, contribute. And you've raised your hand and you said, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm doing this with my business, whether you are an established business owner or you're beginning to just build it, that you're just beginning to put it together. And so all of a sudden, you're taking action and things are rolling and things start happening. This is the beautiful thing about it, right? You start working with these principles that you hear me and so many others speak to, universal law of attraction. You're visualizing, you're doing the deed, you're taking action and things start happening. And you're starting to feel pretty good. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it feels like there's this feeling, this voice that just rises up and wants to grab you and pull you right back down and say, hey, who do you think you are? What makes you think you can do this? If they really found out who you really were, they wouldn't want any part of this and they wouldn't want any part of you. That nasty, insidious imposter syndrome just creeps up and has the ability to ruin everything. You start doubting yourself, you start second guessing, you start backing up, you start hesitating. I tell you, there's nothing that will kill a dream faster than hesitating. And the imposter syndrome will cause you to hesitate every single time. It's crazy. So, what do? What is it that you do? Well, first of all, recognize that it's a thing, that the imposter syndrome is a thing. So let me lay some foundations here. There's a part of you that wants to go forward. This is your life force energy seeking a richer, freer, fuller expression. Anna, so good to see you. Seeking greater expression. There is that in you that knows you are capable of so much more, Anna. There is that in you that is dreaming as an answer to the part of you that is longing for something more, longing for something more fulfilling, that longing for you to discover more about yourself. There's that in you that is answering that call. That's when you start dreaming. The dream is the answer to the call from the universe to encourage you to discover more of who you are created to be. So you answer the call, you answer the dream. And then there's this part of you, and it's in every single one of us, that will fight like crazy to keep you right where you are. The status quo that will literally want to pull you by the feet and just pull you down and keep you right where you are. It's crazy how insidious that voice is. And oftentimes it can feel so real and so truthful, right? But here's the thing. The thing to understand about your dream is that your dream is inviting you to step into worlds and realms that you've never known for yourself before. And so first and foremost, I want to give you, I want to bust a bubble. I want to tell you a secret. The thing about your dream, you don't know how to do it. Who you are today does not know how to do it. Now, that doesn't mean there's not that in you that does know how to do it, but who you are today does not know how to do it. That's the purpose of your dream. The purpose of your dream is to wake you up to more of who you are, to help you discover more of you, develop more of you, grow more of you. So who you are does not know how to do it, but there's that in you that does. And so when you start seeing yourself move in new, remarkable ways that you've never known for yourself before, it's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's like having a new pair of shoes. I'm glad this is resonating with you. It's like having a new pair of shoes. They're tight in the beginning. They're uncomfortable. You got to work them in. But you don't say, oh my God, I don't belong in these shoes. These shoes are not right for me. You say, let me work these shoes in a little bit and loosen them up and soften them up and stretch them out a little bit so they form to my feet better. It's the same thing with the imposter syndrome. What's going on with the imposter syndrome? Right now, you are perfectly identified with your current life. You have a perfect relationship with your current life. You don't have a relationship with this dream life. You don't have a sense of familiarity, a sense of identity, an ability to really move in that world. That doesn't mean that you don't know how. It doesn't. Let me change that. It doesn't mean that there's that you don't have the ability. You just haven't developed it yet. Think of it this way. When you were born with everything required to be able to talk. You were born a talker. Doesn't mean that you had developed that capability as of yet. But everything required was there. You know, my degrees and my career several careers ago was as a speech pathologist. And so I worked with kids that there was something that went amiss with this, but they still had the ability. There was still an ability there. You were born with the oral musculature. You were born with the respiratory apparatus. You were born with the areas of the brain. That all of it was there for you to unlock it and develop it and to be a talker. You were born with everything required to be a talker. Now, it required you to develop it. It required you to be around other people, to hear how other people spoke. You saw the reward of knowing, learning how to talk. So as you developed your capacity to form language, you took that apparatus, you took that potential, and you developed it, and you stepped into it, and you became a talker. And you will never not be a talker. Even if something were to happen, and that you no longer were able to actually verbalize words, you will always have the ability to communicate. You remember what it is to be a communicator. It's the same thing with your dream. Your dream is waking you up to all of the potential that is you. Everything inside of you that is required for you to step in and fulfill this dream. The very fact that you can think it up is evidence that you have everything required, everything inside of you to be able to achieve this dream. So it doesn't, Deanna, good to see you. Yeah, talking about that, you're not an imposter, you just have to catch up with it. So when you step into your dream and you're starting on, you're putting on new behaviors, you're putting on new qualities, a new identity, and there's a part of you that doesn't recognize yourself because you've never done this before. And so we've got this crazy thing that says, then it must mean that it's not real. It's not that it's not real. You just have to catch up with yourself. You have to catch up with this new identity. So there's a couple of things going on. First of all, understand that your dream is inviting you to wake up to an even greater degree of your brilliance and magnificence. That it's your dream is inviting you to put on even more this amazingness and to develop some capacities that are dormant. Just like the analogy of being a talker. All of those capacities are dormant when you're first born. They're all there. You just haven't learned how to access them, and you haven't developed them yet. When you have a dream, your dream is in response to that greater version of you that's wanting to be developed and to come forward. That's the purpose of your dream. The purpose of your dream is for you to discover more of who you are, to develop that capacity and bring it forward. So you have these amazing abilities, these amazing capacities that are there. They're just dormant. It's not that you're an imposter. You're just not familiar with it yet. You just haven't come to trust it yet. You haven't fully realized and developed it yet. So when you say yes to your dream, what you're doing is that you're learning to recognize these are some elements that I now need to develop about myself. And not only develop, but here's the other piece, own. Own these capacities. This is not a fluke that these things are happening. This is not an accident that you're showing up in a particular way. It's not a one-off. It's you. You just have to catch up with it. You just have to claim it and continue to develop your capacities around it. So you're putting it on. You're imagining that you are the woman doing this, and you see yourself showing up differently. So how do you then really ground this and move beyond the imposter syndrome? First thing you want to do is that you want to own the fact that you are capable. The very fact that you have the dream is evidence that you have everything required to bring that dream forward. Again, and I'm going to keep bringing you back to this, the capabilities are there, they're just dormant. So you want to own that you have the capabilities. It's like, okay, so maybe I'm not fully developed for this yet, but I've got everything in me to do this. You want to own that. You want to own the belief that the dream is the universe's way of saying, hey, pay attention. You have these capabilities. Now let's develop them. Let's bring them forward. So as you are imagining the dream, you want to own that you were designed by this indescribable force for love, this creative life force that gave you everything required to bring this dream to fruition. Now, you then have to make a decision. So the first thing is that you want to own that you've got the capability. They may be dormant, but the abilities are there. And I always get mixed up. What's capability and what's ability? I think you've got the abilities. Now you just have to develop the capabilities. It's dormant. So recognize that the fact that you've got the dream means that you've got it in you to bring to achieve it, to bring it into fruition. So just feel that right now. Just know that you can't have a dream without having all that's required to bring it into fruition. I want you to say this. I am 100% capable of achieving this dream. Put it in the chat. Say it with me. I am 100% capable of achieving this dream. Now, second thing is that now you have to make a decision. I need a drink on this. Now you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision that in fact you can develop these things. So you own that you can do it, and now you're going to make a decision to develop the dormant capabilities, dormant abilities that as you develop them will allow you to achieve the dream. So this is when you get training. This is when you get help. This is when you get support. And this is when you give yourself permission to be in a learning curve. We as adults, somewhere along the line, mistakenly have the illusion that we should know how to do something immediately. And that there's no learning curve, that there's that you should just go from 0 to 60, boom, like that. And the thing about your dream is that there are things that yes, I love it, Deanna. Yes, you are 100% capable. Now you want to make a decision to develop those abilities. That you are deciding to get the help that's required to develop whatever it is that you need to know and discover about yourself in order to be able to fulfill that dream. With that is in giving yourself permission to be in that awkward, uncomfortable place of not knowing exactly how to do it. Give yourself permission to be in the learning curve. I think people often mistake the imposter syndrome with the learning curve. That if I'm not perfect at this, if I'm not 100% competent, if I'm not, like getting on a bike, like for the gazillionth time where it's just so automatic, then I must be an imposter. When you watch little kids learn a new skill, they never suggest to themselves that maybe they're an imposter, that maybe they don't really know how to do it. Now, they may cry a little bit in frustration, and it's okay to cry in frustration as you're learning about it, but it's not because you don't belong there or you don't deserve it, or maybe it's not really you. It's, you know what? I'm in some growing pains. I'm learning this. It's uncomfortable. It's new. It's awkward. It's like that pair of shoes I talked about earlier. And so you make a decision to develop your abilities, to become capable, and you give yourself permission to be in the learning curve. Yes, Deanna, it is okay. I love, Deanna, that you're in this. It is okay to feel weird while learning new things. Absolutely. So understand that you can't have a dream, that the very fact that you have a dream is evidence that you have everything in you required to fulfill that dream. Number 2, that you have these amazing capabilities and abilities that your dream is wanting to wake you up to, that they're dormant. And so then you make a decision to develop those abilities and capabilities, and you give yourself permission to be uncomfortable, to be in that learning curve. Then what you want to do is to begin to use this amazing faculty of your imagination to not only visualize the dream, but to visualize you in the dream. This is number 3-ish. I'm kind of got the steps mixed up, but so we're just going to go that this is number 3. That you want to utilize this amazing faculty of your imagination to do, we all know about the power of visualization, but here's what happens with visualization. Oftentimes people will visualize something, but they won't see themselves in it. It's as if it's happening to somebody else. One of the key things of overcoming the imposter syndrome is that you have to be at home in your dream. You have to start moving around in your dream as if this is your new normal. You have to own it as your new normal. And so when you're imagining it, when you're visualizing it, I'm going to invite you to physically see yourself in the dream. You want to physically see you in the dream, and then you're moving around in it. That you see yourself doing those things, that imposter syndrome part of you saying, oh my God, there's no way that I could do that, and I'm a fake and I'm a fraud. The more you're able to see yourself doing it in the imagination, in your imagination, the more familiar it becomes, and the more you own it. It's like, again, you're working in a new pair of shoes, and the first place to do it is in your imagination. The power of that is that it will then inform you, your dream, and then who you're being in that dream will inform you of who is it that you need to be as you're going through your daily routine. Not only are you seeing it in your imagination, but now you're asking, who is it that I need to be? Who is it that I need to put on as I'm now going about my daily routine in your current life? You're building a new identity. you're putting on a new identification. You're literally zipping yourself into a new skin to a level where it begins to feel at home. You're doing it in your imagination, and then you're allowing that image to inform who you want to be as you're moving in your daily life. And so if the woman in your dream is a woman of boldness, is a woman of confidence, is a woman of competence, it's like you're seeing yourself doing that in your imagination, and then you're asking, how do I then show up that way when I'm watching this live, when I'm in a conversation with my spouse or my partner, when I'm brushing my teeth? The thing about it is that you are going to be somebody. Most of us, most of you, because this is one of those things that I am constantly working with. You revert back to the identification that is a perfect match for your current life. When you start feeling yourself changing, you then start saying that you're being an imposter. You're not an imposter. You just have to become at home in that new situation, in that new beingness. And the way that you do that is that you start speaking the language. You start being the identity of the person who achieved your dream as you're in your current daily routine. So you're asking yourself, all right, as I really did this, and I can see it in my imagination, so I know it's real. I know I have the capabilities in me, and I'm committed to developing those abilities and capabilities. And if I really knew that I was doing this and that I belonged here and that I own it, how do I show up in this situation? Who am I being when I'm making a lunch for my kids? Who am I being when I'm meeting a prospect at a coffee shop and having coffee? What skin am I zipping myself into? And you want to ask yourself, you want to let your dream inform who is it that you need to be in that situation, and own that you've got the ability to be that. You're not being fake. You're just putting on a new iteration of you, a more developed, a higher, a more aware iteration of you. The power of this is that when I taught third grade, my second graders walked in not knowing multiplication, but they understood they had the ability to learn multiplication. And so we worked together for them to learn the concepts of multiplication. And it was uncomfortable and it was scary for them at times, but they got it. Most of them eventually got it until it was so wired into them that now they do it automatically. It's the same thing with your dream, that you want to work with those capabilities, work with that identity, really put on being that woman doing it over and over and over. And it's a conscious decision in the beginning. You're being conscious about, okay, I'm the woman doing this, I'm the woman being this, over and over and over, until it becomes so wired into you that now you're at home, that now you're no longer an imposter, but now you're at home in it. And you do this over and over and over. Watch how you own this new person. You're showing up in these new capabilities, and your world is rearranging accordingly. All right, so I'd love to hear your takeaways from this. Let me invite you, because this is what I do. I help you get clear about your dream. I help you really put on owning yourself as the amazing woman who's doing this and stepping into it over and over and over until it becomes your natural state, until the next dream comes along. All right, so what I would love for you to join me Friday, March 19th, 9:30 to 12:30, free masterclass. We really dig into these dream activation code principles, help you gain clarity, help you, number one, understand what are the cause of our results. What is it really that creates our results? Then to work with a vision, really understand the power of your imagination and put it in service to a life that you love. And then that imposter syndrome piece. What is it to build a relationship with the woman who's doing this, with the woman that did it, and own it? Yes, That's it, Deanna. And here's the thing about forgetting, right? The thing that I'm going to encourage you is that it's. I don't know that it's necessarily forgetting, more than now let's take it deeper. Let's go deeper with this. And so Friday, March 19th, 9:30 to 12:30, this is what we're going to go deeper into. The formula of how to take this amazing dream and bring it into the facts of your life. It's free. The only thing I ask is that you make a charitable contribution to a cause of your choice. The link to register is up in the description. Come hang out with an amazing community and allow me to support you in really listening deeply and getting super clear on what is it that's coming most alive in you in order for you to be able to live the life that you are created to live. All right, so bring it in for a landing. Imposter syndrome. It's just simply life inviting you into a greater iteration of you. It is your dream inviting you to discover more of who you are, more of what you're capable of. That it is your dream inviting you to bring forward these amazing dormant abilities. So you know that the very fact that you have your dream means that you have everything required to bring it into manifestation. Make a decision to say yes to what's coming alive in you. You too, Deanna. And own that you've got this. Own that you've got this and be willing to step in no matter what and bring this dream to fruition. All right, so again, my name is Felicia, Searcy, your Dream Life Activator. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. Join me March 19th, 9:30 to 12:30. Let's get you going. Your dream is my passion. Mwah. God bless.